It's a little cheese dish. Is that not just so charming?
Welcome to WatchMojo UK, and today we're looking at 20 of the most fascinating and valuable items the experts have picked up on Antiques Road Trip.
It's difficult when you don't have very much money to try and find things that are going to get people hot under the collar.
Before we begin, we publish new content every day, so be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos.
Number 20. Brick.
It's priced at...
Yeah, ridiculous price. Come on.
Now hear us out. Sometimes the most interesting items are the ones you can't believe anybody would ever spend any money on. That was exactly what happened here, in this celebrity edition of the programme, starring comedy duo Tommy Cannon and Bobby Ball. Cannon and Ball were head to head, and Tommy ended up bringing back a brick to auction.
Next, it's time for the brick. This will be interesting.
Who bought this one?
Tommy!
Me! It's a brick.
The notable thing about the brick was that it had a dog print in it, and he saw the potential. At the auction, it was chaos, with Bobby unable to believe that people were actually going to buy a brick at a markup.
500 to start me.
Yes! Good start!
It was certainly one of the funnier auctions we've seen on the show though, and he did make a profit.
I can't believe you've all been bidding for a brick!
Number 19. Human organs.
Spleens, livers, kidneys, body parts. Jack the Ripper, eat your heart out.
Mark Hill managed to find some of the weirdest items we've ever seen on Road Trip, pulling out some anatomical models once used by medical students. He paid £25 for a large collection, including a stomach and an intestine. They miraculously started to sell, with bids opening at 50 quid. There were clearly some weirdos attending the online auction who weren't willing to let these objects go without a fight, much to the surprise of Irita.
80 bid online now.
80 online? Hey, they're flying. This is an auction.
90's bid online now. And 95 in the room again.
The lucky bidder went home with a liver, some kidneys, some ears, and even a cheeky spleen thrown in for good measure. God only knows what they intend to do with them.
130.
That is fantastic.
Crikey Moses. Now that's a real profit.
Number 18. Crystal stick pin.
I'm almost lost for words because this is probably as good as it gets.
Auctioneer Joe immediately saw the value in this Essex stick pin when it arrived, and he was absolutely right. This buy was one of Ishi's, and it came in its original box.
This next lot is probably my favourite thing I've bought on this trip so far.
I know how much they are worth, and I know that our budget does not allow us to buy that sort of thing.
He got extremely lucky with it, with he and Irita both knowing that it was worth far more than the £85 he paid. The bidders knew too, with bids almost immediately shooting up to £200.
Does that say 200?
200.
Yes, that says 200!
It is my lucky day.
And they kept rising. In the end, the price was much lower than the actual value of the pin, but Ishi still made a huge profit, especially on an item with such a high upfront cost by road trip standards. Whoever bought it got a bargain too, even for £240.
It needs to make 360, 380.
Yeah, it's worth that, right?
It's worth that.
Yeah.
Number 17. Bust.
It's a beautiful plaster library bust.
Tim Medhurst has a better eye than many and did very well on this leg. But one item was a cut above the rest. A plaster bust. Despite not actually being made of marble, the bust was still well made and getting on in years, with plenty of value of its own.
Lots of interest going on. 70 we have to start. Online at 70.
Keep it going, keep it going, keep it going.
80 now at 80.
Let's get to 100.
It was his first lot of the auction and shot right up to over £100. Impressive considering he only paid 30. He ends up making an £80 profit, which isn't up there with some of the more extraordinary finds on the show, but it's more than a layperson would expect something made out of plaster to be worth.
It's gonna go. 110.
A much better result.
He later makes a £90 profit on some candlesticks.
Yep, I don't think the winner today was ever really in doubt.
Number 16. Snake sculpture.
How unusual. Now, who would do an unusual thing that quite well defined here? We've got all the scales there. This has the work of the Japanese about it.
Who knew a little model snake would hold so much value? Well, James Braxton, clearly, because he identified it as being made of bronze by weight alone. He latches onto it because it's bizarre and begins haggling with the shop's owner.
Now, can snakes fly? We're about to find out.
This is where Braxton's road trip explodes.
He gets it for £39, £11 off the asking price, and off they go to auction. The bidding starts at 80, more than double what he paid, and just goes up from there. After all that, it goes for £180. That's a profit of £141.
110 now online at £110 against the commission bid at 120 and rising 130. At £130 and 140 now. £140 at £140.
Not bad, given the small profits, or indeed many losses, that items usually go for. Number 15. Persian Silver.
But it all comes down to the Persian Silver, Charles's biggest buy. The auctioneer's tip too.
This 18th century dish was expected to command a high price, and indeed it did. Made of ornate silver, it was over 200 years old and in great nick. Charles paid £72 for it, which is a lot given their relatively small budgets, but it was more than worthwhile.
120, 130, looking for 140, 150, let the net run now, 150.
The bids opened at £120, already a solid profit, and it was only up from there. The price rapidly increases, with the dish in high demand, and eventually gets all the way to £240. That's the winning bid, and it nets Charles a profit of £168. Nothing to scoff at.
Thanks a lot. Thanks, auctioneer. Well done. Thanks a lot, Chief. Great. Thank you very much.
Charles's boldness pays off, and the old hand wins the day.
Number 14. Cheese dish.
For the person who has everything and who sails and who happens to love cheese.
You can't help but enjoy this novelty cheese dish, made to look like a straw boater. Natasha certainly loved it, because she bought it and took it to auction. She genuinely thought it wasn't going to do well, haggling down the price from £40 to £25. But she needn't have worried. The bidders fell in love with the cheese dish as well, and ran up the bids until it went for £120.
I've got several bids online. We're up to 90 with me. 5, can I say? 95, 110.
That's a joke. That's a joke.
Tash was absolutely amazed that it went for so much money. Although, are we completely sure that she wasn't bidding on it herself, in secret, because she liked it that much?
Don't look so surprised, Tash. Making a profit is sort of the point.
I feel like I need some strong cheese to sort of lift me out of that moment. That was surprising.
Number 13. Morning Brooch.
You know what that is? That's a morning brooch.
This Georgian brooch dated all the way back to 1793 and contained an actual human hair from a woman named Elizabeth Bates, according to the engraving on the back. Margie saw the value in something like that, though it's sad to think that any family got rid of this piece of their ancestor in the first place and picked it up.
Start the bidding straight in at £200. At 200 bid, at 200. I hope that's a happy.
Auctioneer Jemima says that morning jewellery sells, and she's absolutely right. Immediately, the online price sets the auction at £200 to start, shocking Margie.
260, 280, 300, anywhere, 300, 320 bid, at 320.
It eventually sells for £320, a whopping profit. And now the UK knows the name of the woman the jewellery was commemorating in the first place.
What an incredible result. Looks like Jemima was right.
Number 12. Virginia Woolf Collection.
I can see from a distance that all of these cloth-bound books are by Virginia Woolf. How good is that?
That these books went for so much perhaps wasn't a surprise, since it was an old collection of the works of renowned novelist Virginia Woolf. They were cloth-bound first editions, printed by Hogarth Press, the press she and her husband Leonard founded.
It's the final lot of today, Natasha's Virginia Woolf book collection.
Who's afraid of Virginia Woolf? Well, I might be.
I am.
The dealer lets them go for £25, and honestly we're surprised Tash didn't ask to pay a bit more, knowing the true value. At auction, the bidding starts at £95 for all 8. They eventually go for £150, still a great deal considering the prestige. Some first editions of Woolf can go for thousands of pounds each, let alone in a bundle like this.
At 150.
That's a top result.
Tremendous, Tash. Well done.
Number 11. Georgian Ring. Izzy paid £55 for this beautiful Georgian ring, so was thrilled when the bidding began at over £300. That's an extraordinary profit margin, and it very quickly rises to over 400 and just keeps going.
Start me what, 300 for it? 340 is the bid. 340, 360.
She ultimately makes £700, a profit of £645, storming to victory. To say she found it just sitting in a jewellery cabinet, it's certainly a steal. But what do you expect from a jewellery expert? Of course she was going to spot something like this.
I think, I know, this is a Georgian ring. It's also a very distinctive colour.
Better, the original price was £79, and she managed to haggle that down. Not that she needed to, obviously. The profits still would have been absolutely massive regardless.
500? 500's bid. 550's bid. 600?
This is amazing.
600.
Number 10, wooden box. Tim Medhurst was in a bit of a pickle in this episode of Road Trip as he was dawdling behind Izzy Barmer's score, but fortunately for him, he saved the best for last. Tim instantly fell in love with the item, realising it was a letterbox from the 1900s and would be hung from people's doors. This antique wooden letterbox was bought for a risky £140, but that was clearly worth it come to auction.
I'm speechless already.
In the end, it racked up an impressive £2,200 selling price. That's a whopping 15 times what he paid for it, making it Tim's biggest success story on the show.
Congratulations, Tim! An outstanding lot. What a profit!
Number 9, tea set. This gaudy little tea set might not be to everyone's taste, but all it takes is a couple of hungry buyers to score a profit. Natasha Raskin-Sharp spotted this pink tea set and was instantly enamoured. She spent only £30 on the set, and as it turned out, it was actually designed by Vilmos Scholny as part of the Vienna World Fair back in 1873.
550 is bid, 650.
Is this happening? Is this happening?
It is, 650 bid, 700.
Natasha certainly made the right call picking this one up, as the price climbed and climbed all the way to 750 quid, a price even she had trouble getting her head around.
Sip, sip, hooray! What a belter of a profit!
Number 8, toy rattle. What's the most you'd spend on a baby's rattle? Probably not 25 quid, right? Well, that amount was actually paid off for James Braxton after this curious little item caught his eye.
380 I'm bid, thank you.
400.
The rattle was made of brass and Indian in origin, a truly fascinating little piece. Fortunately, when it came to auction, it found its audience, as one Belgian buyer bid a surprising £400 on the child's toy. Not bad for something to be given to teething babies.
Well done, James. That item is on its way to Belgium.
Number 7, the £1 glass.
3 pieces. And that's all I'm buying.
You can't go wrong for £1, but you'd certainly have to be an expert to spot something special about this humble little glass. Most would even question what it was used for, with its bizarre shape.
Absolutely delicious little knopped stem, and it sits on a domed and folded foot.
However, Paul Laidlaw was just the man for the job, noticing that it was a Georgian-era item and identified it as being from around 1740 to 1750. The small price tag on the miniature cake stand turned into a tidy £360.
Absolutely outstanding.
Number 6, love token.
Georgian hand-painted watercolour, circa 1815 to 1820.
Leave it to the Red Dwarf cast to catch such an intriguing item. When Craig Charles was pitted against Robert Llewellyn, Rob took home the crown, and it's mostly this love letter to thank. This love letter was over 200 years old and was beautifully illustrated.
Nowadays, all young lovers do is to send eggplant and donut emojis.
What sets this one apart from the rest of the items on this list is how intimate it is. A truly unique relic. Plus, buying it for £35 and then selling it for £240 isn't such a bad score either. A very nice find for Izzy and Crichton.
There was a whole lot of love in the room for that lot.
Number 5, old signs.
And all aboard! Because it's Mark's Route Master bus signs coming up next.
Sometimes the experts are shocked to find some antiques are still in circulation. That was definitely the case when Mark Hill got his hands on this remarkable piece of history.
I'm going to have to start at £140 on commission. £140 starts me.
I'll take that.
While appearing quite basic, these rolled-up posters are actually old bus signs from London.
Oh my goodness.
They would indicate to commuters where the bus would be headed to next. After snagging these for just £8, Mark managed to sell them for a handsome price of £240. Not bad.
That was amazing.
Another stonking profit for Marky Boy.
Number 4, elephant model.
And the auctioneer thinks it could go for a couple of hundred.
The experts just couldn't contain their excitement when the bidding on this item went off the rails. While most of us would dismiss the model of an elephant as nothing special, it sparked interest with online buyers in this episode of Antiques Road Trip. This was, in fact, a Staffordshire elephant, an earthenware model created in roughly 1815.
This is ridiculous.
1,000.
1,000.
Their excitement was justified when the model was bought for £2,700. According to the American buyer, they had been looking to add this to their collection for more than 25 years.
What an amazing result, Charlie.
Number 3, wooden sculpture.
How different is that? I love objects for objects' sake.
You know things are going to be good when the opening bid on something you bought for 15 quid is already £250. The savvy duo of Margie Cooper and Ochuku Ojiri spotted this intricate sculpture in an antique shop in Gloucester.
The wooden sculpture, really nice piece by Brian Wilshaw.
To their surprise, it was actually made by Brian Wilshire and was once exhibited at the Royal Academy earlier in its lifetime. So clearly £15 was a huge undervalue. At the end of the auction, they were looking at a very nice £420. But honestly, we think it should have been more.
What a result! No one was more surprised than Chuko.
Number 2, the Buddha.
Auctioneer Mark said there'd been some excitement over it.
This one is a previous record holder for the show, and it's no surprise antique expert Anita Manning is behind it. £50 may have seemed like a steep price for this modest Buddha statue, but Manning had a gut feeling about it when she spotted it in a vintage shop in Kent. As it turns out, it was made of bronze and was actually highly sought after.
3,500 again in the doorway. 3,600 in.
If you get a wee feeling about something.
When it came to auction, it turned out that the buyers were just as enthusiastic about it as she was. When the hammer came down, this piece landed at £3,800, a miraculous 7,500% profit for Anita.
The biggest road trip profit ever!
Number 1, camera.
75 on that. Bid you 50 quid.
We can't talk about Antiques Road Trip successes without discussing the biggest ever record. Paul Laidlaw couldn't believe his eyes when he spotted this antique camera priced at £60. It was far more precious than it appeared, as it was in fact a very rare Chambre Automatique de Brooch sub-miniature camera.
In fact, we've carried out some research and cannot find any other examples that have sold at auction.
The auction selling price landed at a jaw-dropping £20,000, smashing all previous records on the show. The find of the century, and Paul ended up donating every penny to children in need.
That is truly amazing.
I've got no words. I'm over the moon.
Let us know in the comments who your favourite Antiques Road Trip expert is.
Amazing. Thank you so much. Thank you.
That is fantastic.